Welcome to another episode of the Clean Money Podcast, and this episode is brought to you by Umeme City Rooftop Solar Simplified. Well, on this episode, once again, we get to hang out with Lucy Njine, personal finance trainer and coach. Good to have you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Karibu sana.
Yes, asante sana. You ask everyone in Kenya today who's worked for 5 years, 10 years,
Yes.
They will tell you, me, I'm in the rat race. And I'd like us to just understand then how does financial security lead us into the rat race.
Somebody
Yes.
once said, even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. Okay.
You're right, yes.
How do these two connect?
Now, financial security and the rat race, this is how they connect. And they begin again from where I said, when you start work, when you go to school, when you read very hard, when you get those good grades and you get a job. So now imagine the young people just finishing university right now with that very good degree. You've done everything that they told you to do. Read hard, get your degree soon. Now you've graduated with your very good degree and you've gone out and you've gotten that very good job. How much do you think right now a very good job is going to pay a fresh graduate?
Not a lot of money.
Not a lot of money?
Probably 60, 70,000 there.
60, 70,000. Sometimes banks are paying 30.
Yes, sometimes even lower.
Yeah, sometimes even lower. So let's take an average of the two and say you get a job that pays you 50. You're just a fresh young man who's graduated and you got that your very good degree. So what is your priority now when you get your first check? Your priority is going to be, I need to move out of my parents' house. You've been living with your parents' house or you've been living in some hostel that your parents are paying. And therefore, your first priority is to move out so that now independence and freedom. So you move into your own house. I want us to budget now for your 50,000. So your 50,000, KRA takes its tax straight away. So from 50,000, when they tax you, pay as you earn, maybe you go home with something like 42,000. So 42,000 is your take home when all the deductions have been made. Now, where are you going to stay? Assume you're working for a bank. You're a young man. So where are you going to stay?
Maybe Buruburu or South B.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at.
Maybe like a 1-bedroom like this. And how much is the rent?
This one will probably be in the range of 15, 20,000.
15. So budget for it there, 15,000. Yes. And then let's do the expenses first. So rent is 15,000. There's going to be food in that house. So your budget for food is like how much?
Food for one person for the whole month.
Say 5,000? 5,000. And then you're going to need transport to work. From wherever it is you're living, you said it's Buruburu, sometimes it could be even South B or wherever. Transport for a month, give it another like 5,000. In this house that you're moving into, you need a bed, you need a what, you need to furnish that house, and you're a young man, you need a big TV for watching the football.
I knew you'd go there.
You knew I'd go there? Yes, I know the life of young men. So you spend like how much to equip that house?
To equip that house, you need a lot of money.
You need a lot of money. So maybe you'll need, say, like 200,000 or 150. Your parents will help, or you will take a loan.
You will take a loan.
Yes. So now if you take a loan of 100,000 or 200,000 to furnish the house, immediately you start paying that loan. And therefore in your budget, there's a loan repayment of say another 8,000. Yeah? Okay. On top of that, you need to eat lunch. Remember, you're a young man, you don't carry food to work. It's not fashionable. So you need to eat your lunch and things like that. So lunch for a month is like 100, 200 shillings times 5 days in a week. That's maybe 1,000 times 4, that's 4,000.
Wow.
Your lunch. You have a phone, you need airtime.
Yes, and bundles.
And bundles. So what goes into that?
That's like
another probably 3,000.
Yeah.
If I spend 2,000 myself, so I can imagine.
Yes.
Okay. And any entertainment?
Entertainment is
huge. Is huge because weekends come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Entertainment.
Entertainment, we put how much?
I don't know. Tell me. Maybe 4,000.
Maybe I should ask Ezekiel here behind the camera.
Yes.
About, let's say 4,000.
4,000. Yeah. Okay. This house, you have some bills, electricity and water. Maybe another 2,000. Okay. So even let's just stop there and do the total for this young man.
20,000, 25, 33, 37, 40, 44, 46.
46. And we saw that your take home was what? 42. So you see, this young man has already started on a negative in life. That negative of 4,000, how do you think is going to be filled up?
He will take a loan on Mshwari.
He will go to Mshwari, he'll go to Tala, he'll go to branch, whatever. That is how now our young man starts out. And that pattern continues every month, every month. By the end of 1 year, this young man has been dating, and so he's planning a wedding. Remember, he's servicing a loan that he took to furnish the house. By the time probably he's finishing that loan, now he's already planning a wedding. And you know how we do our weddings these days. It is not a cheap affair. So what will happen? You put in together a committee, they can't raise all the money that you need, and therefore what you will do is immediately take another loan.
Wow.
And so now you get married, and now you're 2 people. You cannot fit into that 1 bedroom. You need to upgrade. Can you see now the expenses are even going to be maybe 1.5 times what it was, even if you have a combined income, assuming whoever wife you're marrying has a similar income, it is combined. Your expenses are growing at a much higher rate than your incomes, both of you. So by the end of another 1-2 years, a family has started. You have kids that are going to school. And then now, both of you are working parents. You are what we are calling middle class. You cannot send your kids to government schools. They will go to those group of schools. So that when you're talking with your friends,
you can say
my child also goes to this school. That time, probably you're also driving a car, and she might also be wanting to drive. So by the time you're getting your second child, your expenses are 3 times your income, and you're surviving on loans.
Wow.
That deficit is always being serviced by loans, and loans are very easily available in this country these days. If it is not the ones you're getting on the phone, those Akina Tala and whatever, you have banks that are willing to give you loans as long as you can show a pay slip. So by the end of like 5 years of working, you can't see what you're doing. You're thoroughly disgusted that you're earning and you can't see anything you're doing, because at the end of the month, you get your money, you pay all the debts, and you have no money. You start the cycle again. And at this time, because of those loans, even if you're so fed up with that job, you can't leave. Because where do you go and you have loans that you are servicing? So that life of, I am so fed up of this job, but I know I can't leave. Even if my employer tells me what, I can't leave because I have loans that I'm servicing. Because if I leave, even if I don't have loans, if I leave, by the time I get another job, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to pay school fees? How am I going to feed my family? That is what is called the rat race. You're chasing the money comes, And before you even blink, the money is finished. And you are in that lifestyle, you don't have a choice. You hate your job, but you can't leave. You hate your business, but you can't leave because of the commitments that you are in.
It's like you're a prisoner.
It's like you're a prisoner. That is what we call the rat race.
Would you say a good number of people are living their life this way?
I'd say with confidence, almost 80% of people are in that space. And more are getting into there. That is why I keep saying that I think it's important to add into that narrative of go to school, read hard, get a good job. We need to add financial literacy in that narrative.
That's why we are doing what you're doing here today.
Exactly. We need to add that narrative so that this young man, as he's getting his first pay slip, he already knows there's a future that can come. There's a place called financial freedom where I need to go with my money. And therefore, as I'm looking for the location where I'm going to stay, as I'm looking for a loan to furnish my house, as I am looking for all these things, I also need to factor in a future that I want to live, and it becomes a priority that I need to finance by the amount of money that I'm getting now.
One of the things I keep saying is that back to the narrative of the song and what we were told, you know, to read hard and to get good grades and finish your education and you get a very good job and you get some good money. You know, no one ever told us what to do with the money.
Exactly. And that is now what is the missing link. That is why a lot of Kenyans are very hardworking. In fact, we are known internationally. Kenyans are very hardworking. But if you ask 90% of Kenyans, after your working life, you've been working for 20, 30 years, ask any Kenyan, what have you done with the money? They can't show you anything substantial they've done. But if they can't count for you the amount of money that has passed through their hands, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked at the stories you will hear.
I still remember the first time I got my M-Pesa statement. I thought, no.
This is not mine.
This money passed through my phone. All this money.
On your phone. Yes.
I thought I must be a very rich man.
Yes, and imagine it's not all your money that goes through M-Pesa. There's still quite a bit that doesn't get its way into the M-Pesa. So Kenyans make a lot of money. And so when we keep on saying that Kenyans, we are poor, we are hustlers, I'd like our people to understand we are not poor. We work hard enough and we get money. Our problem is, what do we do with the money that we earn? That is what is the problem.
So this place, this financial freedom place, how do I know when I get there?
How you know when you get there is when you're not worried that tomorrow you can be without a job. Because then even if you didn't have a job, you'll still be able to pay your rent if you're still living in a rented house. You'll still be able to pay your school fees. You have some money that is coming when you're not working. When you get to that space called financial freedom, that is a space now where people tell us your money works for you. You're not the one working for the money. And therefore, whether you're working or you're not working, you have some money that comes passively. And that money that comes passively then is what will enable you to meet the obligations that you need to meet even if you're not working. That is how you know that you are there, that you're getting there. When you know you have some passive income, whether that passive income, you're the one who saved and invested, or probably you are lucky, you got some inheritance. Someone gave you some money and you know how to utilize that money so that it doesn't just go in a month or two. So whichever way that money comes, you will know that you've gotten to financial freedom when you know that you're not worried about tomorrow and you don't need to work for money. Yes.
Well, we have quite some ground to cover.
We have some ground to cover before we get there. But once we know that is where we want to go, then we will get there. If you know where you're going, definitely you will get there. But if you don't know where you're going, that is when we say that when you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And that place where we don't know where we are going is what we are calling financial security. So we want our people to understand this. You have a good job that is paying you a good salary and you're feeling you are secure. There's no threat of tomorrow we are going to be retrenched. There's no threat of anything. please don't be comfortable there. Think of how will you get to financial freedom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
I think that has been some helpful information. We are on a journey, my friend. It's called the journey to the place of financial freedom.
Yes.
And it's good to know so that you can begin to deliberately plan how you will get there. Well, that's all the time we have for our podcast for today. Look out for the next episode. It's all about financial literacy. It's not that we need better paying jobs. We need more information on what to do with what we already have in our hands. It is possible, guys, and we'll make this journey together. Remember, this episode was brought to you courtesy of Umeme City Rooftop Solar Simplified. Thank you.
This is Clean Money TV.